But I also used to do it, so I'm not being like, Eugene. Hi, how are you? I hope that you're very, very well. I've like nearly lost my voice, so that's why I sound like an absolute
baritone.
Now, I yesterday was sitting there and I was like, I've shared some of my unpopular opinions before and people get angry. But today I thought, let's share your opinions. Let's put you out there and let's see if people get angry at you. I don't know, I feel like people just get so dramatic. I know this is a theatrical thing, but I feel like people take it very personally. If I do like something, if I don't like something, I don't know. Chill out. I've not come on here just to be like, you're all stupid, because I don't think that. I think you're all amazing. But I think there are a small group of people in the theatre world, and I'm sure it's like this in every world, but obviously I only know the theatre world because I have no life. I see a lot of it, and I think we all have different opinions, and that's okay. But today I'm going to react to your unpopular opinions. So what I did was I asked on my Instagram, which is @AmyLovatt_ if you want to follow me, about their unpopular opinions. So I'm going to share them. Let's see if they are unpopular. Let's see if I agree. Let's see if I'm gonna get into some fisticuffs. Right, Nicole says Glinda over Elphaba. I always loved Glinda growing up. I think because I like wasn't very cool and I always thought the popular girl was cool, so I always wanted to be a Glinda, but I don't know, I feel like I relate more to Elphaba, you know, being green and all. Yeah, I do feel like people like Elphaba a lot more, but I don't know, there's still some Glinda gang out there. Fern says that she didn't like the recent West End production of Company. Now, I'm gonna have to give a hard agree with that. I didn't love it either. I thought it was okay. I don't know, it didn't like change me in any way, and I thought the direction was amazing. The set design and the concept of it was great, but I didn't love it. I'm not a huge Company fan anyway. It's certainly not my favourite Sondheim show. So, hello. I didn't love it either, Fern. I'll be honest with you, pal. Make Franken said, production should hire more teens or people who are actually the age of their character. I understand this, but I do think I would have to disagree. There's a lot of stuff with like licensing and the working hours of teens, so like people under 16. Specifically in the UK, I'm not sure about in different countries, but it means that companies have to hire more cast members so that they can cover all the performances in a show. So I think it's not kind of viable from a monetary standpoint. Theatre finances are always tight, so I understand why they do it and I understand the frustration with it, but I think it does make sense to not do it. I mean, sometimes you've got like 35-year-olds playing teenagers and it's a bit like really? I think that casting directors are trying to get people close to the age. I've seen a lot of things come through on Spotlight, which is like the UK version of casting lists for shows and TV and stuff, and there's a lot that are like, we only want to see people between the ages of 16 and 21 for this role, and I'm there like, hi, please can I be auditioned? And they're like, no, you look old.
You're not young.
Hannah E. Burnett said, I don't like the music and everybody's talking about Jamie. I like Jamie. I like the story. I like the dancing, but I don't love the music either. And you don't even know it kind of slaps. I can have a boogie to it. I sound so old. If I'm in the mood, but generally I'm a bit like, especially that bit where it's like, dick gon' swing, dick gon' swing. I can't dance to this. There aren't ones that I like continuously listen to, so I kind of get you on that one. Oh my god, Ellen said people calling musicals. It annoys me so much. But then I have to be like, Amy, not everybody understands or knows, so... But I really hate it, right, when a famous person gets cast in a musical and they're like, I just love being in this play, and I'm like, if you're literally in it, please at least call it a musical. Megan said, I prefer the original Heathers recording over the new West End recording. And I have to agree. I don't know what it is, because I think they're all really talented. I loved the show. I mean, I saw that show a lot of times. I spent a lot of money on seeing Heathers in the UK because I loved it, but I don't know, I still prefer the original one. I don't know why. I don't know if it's because I knew that one for so much longer and it's just kind of what's more like comfortable to the ear. Does that make any sense? Do I sound weird? Probably just sounding a bit weird. I prefer the American one. That's not saying that the London one's rubbish or I don't like it, because I'm not saying that, but it's an opinion. Sorry. Alex Eleric said, there is nothing wrong with a 90-minute show. In and out, I'm down. Hun, same. Kate H said, Hamilton is really overrated just because it's a new sound and Waitress deserved the Tony. I would disagree with this, but not saying that your opinion is wrong, but like, in my opinion, wouldn't agree, because I think Waitress is a nice show. I love the music, but I think comparing it to Hamilton, I mean, they're so different, so it's always difficult to compare, but I do personally think that Hamilton is a work of actual genius. When you look at the tiny intricacies of the music and the writing and the way that it blends with the choreography and it tells a story, and I think it is so much more than Waitress, in my opinion. Like, I love Waitress, don't get me wrong, I'm not saying that I don't like it, but I think, in my opinion, I do think that Hamilton is a better show, so I do think it deserved the Tony that year. Oh, I've got an unpopular opinion here. Beefy Cakes 13 said, if you only like modern musicals, you can't say you like musical theatre, you like pop. I disagree, because not all modern musicals are in a pop style, and pop is, I feel like, too broad a statement to capture it, because like, it's a different genre of music. Like, contemporary musical theatre, I love it. Everybody knows I love it. I love it because I love the sound of it generally, but I love still the story that it's telling, whereas a lot of pop, for me, doesn't really tell stories. And that, for me, is the thing about musical theatre, is it telling stories through music. I want a song to advance the plot, and that is essentially what the definition of a musical is, as opposed to like a play with music. So the style of music, although it may sound poppy, it is still musical theatre because it is advancing plot. So I disagree. Musical theatre has evolved, and it will evolve again. You know, it won't sound like this forever, and you know, probably 30 years down the road, if you like modern musicals, you only like electro synth, and they'll be looking back at the golden age of pop musical theatre. Because like things like Chess, for example, in the 80s was considered pop at the time, so it's moving along with the time of the other sounds that are influencing it. A lot of Andrew Lloyd Webber was classed as pop, even though it's musical theatre, and now people wouldn't consider that contemporary pop. I've gone on to a different topic. That's interesting. Just Jess here said, the truncheon Edna Turnblad shouldn't be played by men. I think that's such an interesting opinion, and not one I've really thought about before. That is really interesting. I don't know. What are your opinions on that? Ooh, that's so interesting the more I think about that. Talking about like masculinity of females, and why can't maybe females play those roles in a masculine way, and why are roles being taken away from women? So interesting. But also, I love both of those roles, as always played by men. Ooh, really interesting. Please let me know what your opinions are on that. I like that. Right, Just Jess gave me another one that I... She said, people who don't understand theatre etiquette should be shot. Now Jess, hun, I feel like maybe we need to have like a calm chat. Maybe you need a fluffy pillow, because I don't think people should be shot. Can you imagine somebody's like chatting during like a death scene or something, and the usher comes up and just says, excuse me madam, could you please? And then they take you out and they're like, boom! Could you imagine? I feel like that's a step too far. There's some unpopular opinions in here, let me tell you, that I agree with, but I cannot share. I just can't do it. There would be a mass exodus of my channel if I shared some of my opinions that I agree with in here. Vicky Emily Evans said, the snobbery in theatre world is created by unbearable privilege. I would have to do a hard agree there. Theatre can be quite gatekeepery. I'm sure this happens in loads of communities, but in the theatre community, I feel like people are very gatekeepery about stuff. And if you have the privilege of having access to go into shows multiple times a week or a month or even a year, you have the privilege of your parents allowing you to follow your interests and your passions, if you have the privilege of going to dance classes and the privilege of having access to musical theatre in such kind of concentrated forms, whether that be from a money standpoint or from a social standpoint or location. And I think we should all be a bit welcoming to new people to the community. And I get it, because when I was younger, I was like, this is my musical. I was like that, don't get me wrong. And sometimes I still have a low-key like, oh, so you like that show, really? Well, I've liked it for ages. I don't know, it's the theatre nerd in me. I can't help it. I'm sorry. I don't really share that. I keep it inside. But some people are like really aggressive about it. It is from a privileged point, so I agree. James Blur said looks are more important than talent, like conventional, naturally attractive, if you get what I mean. I'm sorry, James. I have to semi-agree, semi-disagree. I think if a role specifies that a person should look a certain way, then they should look that way. But I think other than that, whether you're a conventionally pretty person or conventionally attractive, I think that's kind of bullshit. And I don't think that should ever be more important than talent, because what's the point in, if you want to just watch a conventionally attractive person on stage, you may as well go and watch like a fashion show or something, because that's their talent in like being beautiful and showcasing clothes or whatever. I don't know anything about models. Theatre, you are looking for people who convey a character through the mediums of song, dance, and acting. I don't really care if, I don't know, I can't think of anything that's like not conventionally pretty, because I don't care. I don't care what people look like if they are good performers, personally. Okay, this is quite interesting. Ruby Ellen has shared this over a few, and she said, Heather McNamara isn't the perfect cinnamon roll people think she is. I love when people use cinnamon roll. Yeah, she's suicidal, but that doesn't excuse all the things she did, like volunteering Veronica for date rape. Like, what the I still love her as a character. I just don't agree when people say she deserves better. I think this is really interesting because people are very much like, oh my god, Heather McNamara, like the nicest character ever. And she does come good in the end, but she definitely has had years and years and years of being a bully and mean and like part of that group. Did she do it just to survive in the hierarchy of high school? I don't know. It's interesting. I understand where you're coming from. See, Maddie said, I think I prefer the Heather's West End recording to the off-Broadway one. See, we all have different opinions. Although they are kind of the same show, there is a lot of differences, but they definitely have a different sound to them. Although we shouldn't compare them in this way. Oh my god, I'm so on the fence today. I'm being such a Libra. Rosanna Banana fan page said, some Broadway actors complain their lives are so hard but work like 4 hours a day. I'm gonna have to disagree. Because sometimes, yes, when you're in a show, you only work in the evenings, but a lot of the time you're doing press stuff in the daytime, or you are auditioning for other shows, or you are teaching classes, or doing rehearsals for other people going into the show. It's not just rocking up at 6 o'clock and going home by 10. Like, it's so much more than that. And it's such a tiring and physical job as well. And there's a lot of pressure on you. So I do think it is hard to be a performer. And I think audience members can be a bit entitled about like, oh, well, they didn't come out of stage door because they think they're better than us. I mean, are we still having the stage door discussion? It's not a discussion. People have got lives. They don't get paid to do it. If you go to Tesco and someone gives you a really good service on the tills, and you went and then stood at the door being like, oh my god, I just wanted to thank you for your amazing work, they'd be like, that's weird. It's become a norm for stage door to be a thing, but I think we should be grateful when people do it and understanding when people don't. They're real people with real lives. They're not paid any extra. They have to stand outside in the cold. I'm not going into the stage door thing because it's been said so many times and I'm just adding to the conversation. So I would have to disagree. Amy Hibbert 11 said Taylor Swift was the best part of Cats. I'm just gonna leave that there. Naughty Maggot says, Waitress doesn't really deal with realities of domestic violence and just uses it for plot. I hard and fast agree. I agree so much. I really do. It's one of the biggest issues I have with Waitress. I agree. Nookin Foot's Clo 606. I think that 6 slags off Henry VIII too much. I've loved him as a historical figure for so long, and his wives, and to see him slagged off really annoys me. He was a great ruler for England. I think that is interesting. I don't really know what he did for England, but I do know that he was a bit of a bastard. So they never talk about like his ruling, but what he did to those women was actually inappropriate and like totally unfair. I'm gonna have to disagree. I'm not like a big history buff. I don't even remember learning about it in school. I don't know, maybe he did great things for the country, but I don't know about it. But I do think that the way he treated his wives was like totally wrong. Heather Beasley X said, the Music Man shouldn't be getting hate for something out of its control. Totally agree. So I did a video where I talked about controversies or scandals or whatever, and it's about Beetlejuice being moved out of the Winter Garden Theatre so that the Music Man can come in, and I saw people like,
oh, wouldn't it be such a shame if the Music Man just completely bombed?
Wouldn't it be a shame if like no one went to see the Music Man?
and I'm like, that's not the fault of the people in that cast. Well, it's the Schubert organisation who are making these decisions. It's not fair to like blame a show. A. Sydney Smith said, if you meet an actor at stage door, you're not automatically best friends. I mean, that's a hard agree, my friend. Okay, I've got the best one to end it on. Moussedaire? I don't think I've said that wrong. Sorry, Mario. But Mario said, Sharpay and Ryan deserve the leads over Troy and Gabriella. Oh my god, I agree. Troy and Gabriella were like all about the drama. It's like, are they together? Are they not? Is he gonna play basketball? Is she gonna be a science whiz? And it's like, do you know what? Give it to the people who are passionate, right? Sorry about it. Thank you so much to everybody who shared their unpopular opinions. Obviously I couldn't include them all. This video I actually filmed for over an hour, so if it didn't make it in, I probably even discussed it. If you'd be interested in me doing something like this again, definitely let me know. And yeah, I hope you're all really well. Thanks for like sticking by me at the moment. I feel very like inspired to make a lot of content, and I feel very grateful to you all.
I also made a TikTok account.
So yeah, thank you so much. I love you lots. I will see you all soon. Please subscribe if you haven't before. Bye!